Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And first of all, let's quickly talk about some crypto regulation that is breaking news sort of right now. Bitcoin Archive just posted this. G20 countries, the group of 20 most important, debatable countries, agree on the need to collaborate on cryptocurrency regulation. Now, it is very interesting to read this as, I'm gonna say about a week ago or so, we read that different parties over around the world said, hey, if we want to get to crypto regulation, we need to work together. I think the US specifically said that. And of course, within Europe, within the EU, you already have this bonding going on. But it's interesting to see this being such a statement right now, that it's actually pursuing, that it's actually going on like that. I wonder exactly what the rules would be that way though, because, well, different parts of Europe have different ideas regarding crypto. We just saw the Netherlands with a fine, and we're seeing other parts of Europe being quite progressive towards it internally, like the Bank of France being really nice with their CBDC program. Leads me to wonder exactly how the G20 as a total entity then would function, or at least what conclusions they would draw. Now, to not stay too far away from the current crazy stuff that's going on, as you guys have most likely seen, right? You guys have most likely already seen it. Regarding the, information that a lot of you guys are not reading, but that's going on in the background, most indicators have flipped completely bullish over the last couple of days. A lot of the things I showcase to you guys day in, day out, like the ASOPR, even the I want to say the unrealized profit and loss. This is the realized profit loss, unrealized. You can read for yourself here partially what they mean, but most things right now are flipping into a positive state. And why? Well, because the Bitcoin price is starting to pump, but also because a lot of this fear is being taken out right now. Yesterday, we had a little bit of a fake out Sunday in the Bitcoin price. Today, I would say it's a lot more clear that things are just crazy bullish because of the surge that we've seen in the price, just absolutely phenomenal. But also, people have this faith again that this crypto bull market is going to set forth right now. A lot of people are saying, okay, you know what? The worst of the inflation is now behind us. Things are about to get only better from here. You can see Bloomberg saying strong US dollar, trade gap, worse inflation globally. At the end of the day, indeed, I have it open somewhere, not 1,000% sure which one of these ones it is. I think it's this one right here. The US dollar is actually doing pretty damn good. And from that perspective, it's interesting to see and kind of read about all this stuff. I personally think it's kind of interesting how the US dollar is doing so good when even more of these, how do you call it again, guys? Stimulus type of checks are on the way over in the US, or at least some tax rebates or things of the sort. I think it's interesting, right? This came out a couple days ago, the 14th. Tax stimulus checks. See the 14 states that are sending out tax rebate payments, and this came out as well as, in California, they're thinking of a new stimulus payment. Isn't it crazy if you start to think about it, that we're seeing this massive inflation? We're seeing half of the money supply in the US being printed recently. And still they think, you know what, people need this money, let's go. When they're making things just so much worse. But hey, it's a lot of thinking that went into those processes, so I'm not going to intervene and say, no, I would have done better. But whenever I think about it, I'm like, Now, regarding Bitcoin's price action, why can things be doing good again? This is interesting. Bitcoin miners are finally giving up or capitulating. 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. Bitcoin rebounds strongly off the weekly close, but for Bitcoin miners, it may be a case of too little, too late. That's very interesting to kind of read about, right? So can this strength continue on is one of the questions. Apparently, at the same time, which is again right now, after the US dollar cap and the gloomy atmosphere, on-chain data suggests that now is a make or break moment for Bitcoin miners, and capitulation across the market feels close. As talk over where Bitcoin's macro bottom could lie continues, Cointelegraph takes a look at several factors, to shape up where Bitcoin is about to go. All eyes on the weekly moving averages. We've been watching the 200 weekly moving average for a little while, and here it says as well, it all leads up to a familiar challenge on intraday timeframes. Bitcoin USD is approaching both 22,000 and a key trend line at 22.6 thousand in the form of the 200 week moving average. And as it currently stands, I'm recording this video most likely a couple hours before I post it because it's not something that's breaking news, but also I want to always keep a couple hours between my videos unless there's something urgent I need to report on, because otherwise a lot of people just don't see either of the videos. So I'd rather just wait a little and also so people get the notification. But there's a good chance that Bitcoin just actually bounced off of that level. There's a very good chance of that. And I'm also noticing BNB is actually 5th now. So how long will it be before stablecoins get to number 2 and 3 positions, huh? It's going to be interesting. Will stablecoins actually ever overtake Bitcoin to become the biggest crypto in that sense? It's kind of interesting to kind of think about that and watch this move. But let's continue on, right? So we have this very important moving average as a resistance. For now, realized price and 200 weekly moving average already touched 22,000. For the next bull market, we need Bitcoin above realized price at the 200 weekly moving average. Ethereum nearing $1,500 trendsetter move. Yeah, it actually hit already a little bit earlier. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to perform from here. Dollar strength finally flips in Bitcoin's favor. I guess the dollar is indeed weakening slightly here over the last couple of days. So the worst of inflation is over for us, but I guess right now people are waiting for these rate hikes, and maybe that's what's kicking in right now for the Bitcoin price. Could surely be so. Let's see what else we got over here, a little bit lower. Miners dumped 14,000 Bitcoin in days. What we saw before, right? And a couple of bigger banks posted on this, I believe. Maybe it was JP Morgan, I don't remember exactly, said that the cost of creating a Bitcoin has gone ridiculously down, right? And that was actually a little while ago. I believe a little while ago, let's just put it like that. So what happened as well, quite drastically, is that Bitcoin miners start to sell a lot more severely because it was a lot easier to be in profit, theoretically speaking, right? And that's at the end of the day what it's all about. Bitcoin price has been consolidating, and I'm also thinking now, a lot of these miners have been waiting for the moment that Bitcoin goes above 20,000 again, or let's say above 22,000 again. Right now they got the chance to sell because a lot of them most likely had their cost price of 20,000, and now 22,000 is a great freaking deal. Specifically 22.3 thousand just being awesome over the last month because Bitcoin hit a new monthly high. And we have the RSI sparks very rare Bitcoin price inflection point. All I have to say about the RSI is that it's at a ridiculously low point right now, relatively. And I kept on saying to you guys, if you get the chance to buy right now, I would say buy right now. That was a little while ago. We, of course, also had our, pi cycle bottom. Well, I had a little mental oof right there, showcasing this is the big bottom for crypto. Again, we can hit this again. It's not as if there can be no bear market anymore, but there's a small chance that Bitcoin will continue to be bearish for prolonged periods of time, with deeper dips than what we've seen already. That's mostly what I'm trying to refer to in this instance. All right, so let's quickly see. Bitcoin price nears critical 200-week moving average as Ethereum touches 1.5K. You guys are all understanding what's happening, right? We're hitting these key targets. And so we're going to have to see how it responds at all these levels. We, however, are pretty bullish on the matter, though. Bitcoin analyst predicts big short squeeze. Sheep gets listed by Bittrex. Jed McCaleb keeps his last 5 million XRP to himself. Crypto News Digest. Okay. So we have Jed McCaleb, who apparently has a significant amount of XRP somewhere left. Explained that he's doing so just in case it moons. In a Zoom call with CTC News reporters, McCaleb stated that it would be stupid if he sold all of his XRP, since in case the token price goes to 589, he could become rich. Nah, there's got to be a joke, right? What? The former Ripple CTO also attributes his decision to this feeling that holding the rest of his XRP is going to give him and his family more secure. Am I reading like a satirical post? Because the rest sounded quite logical. I didn't think they were down. Is this real? Really? Really? Sorry, he really did that? Maybe he's a big troll, huh? Wow. Or this is just people's theory, and it's not actually what he said in a video. Wow. Okay. Okay, I didn't know that. Sorry, guys. Interesting. But I think it's also been emptied, right? At least a big part of it is now gone. I'm not sure. We should have actually taken a look at that, but let's just kind of skip that. I mean, if he has 1 million, 5 million, 10 million XRP, it's all not the big difference maker. He's gotten rid of 3 billion XRP, so I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about here. It's not that big of a problem or big of a deal anyway. Cardano's Phasal hard fork upgrade delayed until July. I mean, it's not new. It was already supposed to go for July. Not exactly sure why this article got posted just now. It's also kind of strange to post it this way. It was scheduled for the end of July. It was rescheduled from some June, I believe, but that was a long time ago. So not exactly sure why this is posted right now. We can actually skip it. Just wanted to say Cardano's hard fork is going to be one of the biggest things for Cardano in the near future. And the moment that it does happen, I am expecting a slight little pump, even though over a medium term here, it shouldn't be too crazy. Longer term, of course, all the ADA progress adds a lot, which is, of course, amazing. We have this as well. One of the questions that was asked was, why is the Ripple lawsuit so expensive? Because they already spent $100 million. Well, Ripple's lawyers get paid by the freaking hour, right? That's a lot of money. It's a lot of lawyers, a lot of people, a lot of freaking money, guys. It is crazy if you start to think about it. And then there was also a discussion, and I'll go into more depth about this tomorrow, I think, with the CTO of Ripple about whether or not $10,000 per XP was possible. And I actually think it's a very interesting discussion that's to be had. Not between you and I, though, because I already know the answer. Yes, it's possible. From a standpoint of can we achieve it? Sure. How? That's to be seen, but it's possible. Because the coin would allow for it. And if the market ever decides, there's a couple different options, right? Either a crazy burn of XRP. If there's 10,000 coins left, yeah, 10,000 times 10,000, not that much, to be honest with you, right? That's easily possible. Let's say only 1 million XRP is left. Even then, it's easily possible, so to speak, if they were to burn everything. Second is the dollar devalues all the way like crazy, or fill in the blanks, right? There's most likely another way in which it is possible. Maybe it's just very unlikely. However, the question that was asked was more so around the fact of, okay, sending XRP right now is always so cheap, and we always are happy with that. But what if it hit 10,000 and all of a sudden the minimum amount of XRP to transact with, it would be still kind of expensive, right? And so he came in saying, you know what? Even if, regardless of what you say, there are always ways to fix this. For example, one way in which he said was, let's say, right, $10,000 per XRP. Minimum transaction fee is 10 drops. One drop is a millionth of an XRP, so that means it's about 10 cents, he says here, to send a transaction, I believe, right? Current minimum transaction fee is 10 drops. Drop is a millionth of an XRP. Even if we, so even with no change in fees, if it hit 10,000, minimum transaction fee would be 10 cents. Minimum fee could be voted down to one drop, though, so to go to 1 cent. If you want to imagine a world where even a millionth of one XRP is too high, a transaction fee, you can imagine two types of protocol changes. One is you get a couple of credits. So let's say you make one transaction, and now you have in your account, so to speak, credits for 1,000 transactions with that small fee. The fee is only there to make sure there's not infinite amounts of spam. It's the same thing for why an exchange has some sort of fee to every single transfer. They could make money on other things if they really wanted to, right? For example, they could just get rid of the Bitcoin USD trading fee altogether. But there would be too much VOS trading, and there would be too much price manipulation because, well, people can easily do that if there's absolutely no fee. Just so you guys understand. And the second one would just be like, you know what? Let's devise it up differently. There's a couple ways in which it could be done. They could theoretically speak and burn 99% of the supply, making things way more expensive, making the fee very crazy. They can make sure that all of a sudden it's not split up by 1 million, but by 100 million, like Bitcoin is, for example. There's a lot of different ways in which it can be done. As long as there's an agreement, everything is possible. There's even a possibility for, there's so many possibilities, guys. Let's just kind of conclude here. There's a possibility for almost anything. If you really want to, right, you can also just describe an XRP differently. You could even go a different route to make sure that there's not 100 billion, but there's actually 1 trillion. There are ways to go about it. So even though you can't all of a sudden mint another 900 billion tokens, by changing the divisibility officially, you can actually name it so that, okay, we actually are splitting up one XRP into 1,000 different parts, but we're calling this XRP entity a different amount of tokens, for example. But yeah, whatever. It doesn't really matter for too much. It's just a little food for thought, little interesting part I saw. I think we covered everything. There was this. Ripple CTO rejected 500 million XRP tokens for this. I think this is about David Schwartz, where he didn't want XRP, but he took Ripple stock. I think that's what this is about. I didn't read this one, to be honest with you guys. I'm not 1,000% sure on this one, but I believe it was so because I saw that a little bit earlier over on Twitter. So just want to quickly see that. And a report, Bitcoin's capitalization sees largest Bitcoin transfer volume in loss since 2011, which I think is interesting. Take a look at this. According to the findings of Glassnode, companies specializing in blockchain analytics. The Bitcoin markets have been through two massive capitulation events in 2022. Both of these events accounted for the highest loss in Bitcoin transfer volume since 2011. Yeah, of course, when Luna failed, the total transfer volume in the loss was 538,000 Bitcoin, and before this, 480,000 Bitcoin in the autumn of 2017. And according to Glassnode, 2022 has seen the Bitcoin market two enormous capitulation events, with the largest Bitcoin transfer volume in a loss since 2011. When Luna collapsed, the total of transfer volume was 538,000, followed by 480,000, a little other point. It's just kind of interesting for me to watch how exactly people change their mind quickly when Bitcoin starts to pump a little bit, but also how many people, for example, right now are still at a loss, and what the best strategy is for Bitcoin to go on. You know, should you now buy crazy? Should you now sell everything? I personally think the best way to go about this is to just keep buying weekly. Don't let yourself get overzealous by thinking, you know what, this is the start of the big bull run. Now, again, it's going to be crazy. But also don't stay too bearish where you're thinking, no, it's going to collapse to $10,000. Stay in the middle. Long term, we all know it's going to be bullish. 5 years from now, we'll look back and think, oh my days, this was the best time to buy. And very importantly, make sure you press that like button if you're enjoying these videos, all right? And if you want any other thing, if you want to trade crypto, check the links down below. If you want to follow my own trades a little bit, make sure you check out my Telegram for that. If you want a VPN, link down below, you know? And check this stuff out in the description down below. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Hey.